reaction not only of the families of the people who either lost a loved one or had a loved one, a wounded loved one, either with them there when the President spoke or was back in the hospital someplace. I visited one particular soldier who was shot in 6 times and was in a Round Rock hospital, which is less than about 8 miles from my house, and heard what he had to say. And as far as I'm concerned, this was an attack by an enemy upon American troops on American soil. And we have a set of procedures which allows us to give certain benefits to the killed and wounded, pardon me, who are killed in combat zones. And I think that it is only appropriate that these soldiers who were in fact standing in line to process to go to a deployment to the war zones, one of the other war zones, at the time of this incident, and they were basically taken out early in the combat, in the combat of wherever theater they were going into. And I believe they should be entitled to all the benefits that we have established to honor those who are killed or wounded in combat. And first and foremost, and I think to them the most important in many ways, is the right to receive medals. You know, if you are wounded, you should be able to receive a Purple Heart. And I believe if by this bill that we are introducing, we will allow them to have a military classification which entitles them to receive something more than a good conduct medal, but a real medal. And there were events of heroism that took place that I'm hoping that this story will finally get away from the political correctness and into what happened out there on the grassy sides of those buildings there, as far as the stories of heroism that took place at Fort Hood. And those people should be considered for maybe other awards besides just a Purple Heart. And so this bill will allow that, and it will also recognize that these people are. My friend is here from Texas who helped me last night when I was indisposed and couldn't be there, and I really appreciate him because he helped me to raise the issue of this. But this is about giving soldiers the benefits that other soldiers get when they are unfortunate enough to be killed or wounded in a combat zone. It gives them an expanded amount of life insurance. It gives them a combat status that is codified, classifying them as having been killed or injured in a combat zone. As I said, the medals are available. It has enhanced insurance benefits. Allows the Secretary to pay certain death benefits and certain procedures. And just to give you an example, on civilians, you have to have it has to be pre-approved to give these death benefits under the laws as they exist today. This bill would allow them to be entitled to have those death benefits. And in fact, I would argue that, at least at the funeral that I went to on Sunday in Cameron, Texas, for a civilian who was killed in this situation at Fort Hood, I think they gave the full military honors and benefits to that civilian, even though, and he was a former military officer, warrant officer, and now retired and working as a mental health professional. And they had the full military honors, including the giving of the flag, and all those things have to be approved by statute. And this would make sure that we're not somewhere down the line because we could come back and have someone say, these people have to reimburse us because it wasn't authorized because it didn't take place in a combat zone. So it also allows for military bonuses to be paid. It allows for the spouses to stay if they're if you've gotten someone killed and you're on post, and allows you to stay on post for a period of time after the death of the soldier, so that it doesn't disrupt the family. It allows for additional military benefits. It allows for the waiver of some tax issues that soldiers get awarded to when they are wounded, and in theater they get to delay the payment of taxes and in fact suspend some payment of taxes. All of these things are already given to soldiers who are killed or injured in combat, and I think that they should be extended to those soldiers who were killed or injured at Fort Hood. And that's the reason I did this. And I already have almost an equal number of Republicans and Democrats who signed on as the original co-sponsors of the bill, and we're in the 60 some already signed on, and I haven't even asked people to participate yet. So that's, my reasoning is very simple. These people died in combat by a belligerent, and I think we should treat them accordingly. Now, and I'll open up for questions. First let Congressman McCall say something if he'd like to.
Well, thank you, Judge, and let me thank Congressman Carter for introducing this bill. I think it's important in terms of making the victims whole. You know, we can never repay or give them back what Mr. Assad took from them, but this is the first step towards the healing process. The military can step up to the plate and make them whole again. We, last week, Judge Carter and I attended the memorial service and saw not only the family members of the victims who were killed, but also those who were wounded. And one of the wounded soldiers told me, you know, I've been in combat before, and I've been shot at, and I've seen my colleagues go down, but we never expected this to happen at our home. Never at a U.S. base in the United States. And that's what is so shocking about this whole tragic episode. And I think Congressman Carter, this bill, and I'm proud to be a lead sponsor on it, again, recognizes them as they would in the field of battle in Afghanistan or Iraq. It gives them the same benefits and survivor benefits, qualifies them for Purple Heart, and gives them certain tax benefits. It's the least we can do as a nation, I think, to honor their great service and what they did, and again, start the healing process to try to make them whole again.